You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show.
Sweating for Christmas by Stan Freeberg here on North Pole Radio. Well, I can see by the clock on the wall it's the top of the hour. Time to head over to Studio 4F for another episode of Elf Centered here on North Pole Radio.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Elf. I didn't say it right. I'm already screwing up.
It's okay. It's been a long month.
It has been. I can barely keep my eyes open. We still have to do this show.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I think you should have an extra helping of hot chocolate.
All right, let me just... Okay. Hopefully that'll get me through. Well, my name's Gavin.
And my name's Beatrice.
And welcome to Elf Centered, everybody. Wow, what a month we've had.
Oh.
I always think December 1st. I think we're not gonna get it done.
No, we're not. I mean, I had that little meltdown around the 12th.
You did. The 12th day of Christmas.
Yeah.
You went out in the snow. We had to send a search party after you. You just walked out the door.
Mm-hmm.
You still had your hammer in your hand.
Yep.
And you were going.
And I was gone, and you fell in that snowdrift.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, the little top of my pointy green hat was showing through the snow. I don't know how you would have found me.
That's how we got you. That's how we found you.
Yeah, and we made it through. We made it through the month. Another Christmas successfully executed.
Beatrice, do you want to talk about what happened? I mean, we know what you just said what happened, but why you went out the door.
Well, I can handle a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I was in charge of putting eyes on bears, dolls, dragons, and I was doing pretty good about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly, because Felix got sick, I had to take over his station, which was sewing.
Right.
And you know how I am when it comes to a needle and thread.
I understand.
And when I sewed myself to that giant doll and could not get unstitched for 6 hours, you have no idea the terror that put in my heart. And it just threw me over the edge.
Well, between you and me, first of all, those dolls are creepy. First of all, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I mean, the way you put the eye, because you're a master at putting those eyes in there, but just in those dolls, especially the ones that blink, open, and close, is a little creepy. So when you sewed yourself to one, I completely understand.
Well, and between you and I,
yeah,
and anyone listening, I don't think we should have to work on anything that is bigger than ourselves.
That's true. It's a little...
So imagine how it was. I had to walk around all day with that doll attached to me. I had to eat lunch in the cafeteria.
And it's just looking at you.
And the doll was looking at me, so was everybody else.
Right.
Laughing,
Mm-hmm.
pointing,
Yeah.
and Santa was no help.
No.
Boy, he was busy.
Well,
He was busy.
he works one night a year, Beatrice.
I know.
I mean, if we're going to be honest.
He has a lot of responsibility.
Doing what? Driving a sleigh that the deers pull?
Yeah, but he's got to keep...
Shoving things down chimneys?
The list.
The list.
The list is... The list.
I know, but we help out with the list. Whereas, we got guys on shelves everywhere helping him with the list.
That's true. But he has to mind the list. He sits there every night. I've heard him crying.
You've heard Santa
I've
crying?
walked by Santa's door, and I've heard him crying in there over that list.
Does it sound like is it like, ho, ho, ho?
It is.
It's still...
It sounds a lot like his ho, ho, ho.
But just sad.
But sadder.
Yeah.
So, if it weren't for you helping me get unattached from that, and I went out there in the snow with that doll attached to me.
I know. We saw your hat and then that creepy doll head sticking out of the top of the snow, and you're lucky you got rescued because that's a creepy doll.
It was a creep. Who wants to be buried alive in the snow with a doll like that?
Not
with
me.
one eye frozen shut
Yeah.
and one eye open, just staring
Horrible.
out.
But let's talk about the eyes, because you mentioned you do the eyes. You do an amazing job with the eyes.
Thank you.
I mean, because that doll is so creepy is a testament to how good you are with those eyes, because they look real.
Well, I spent a lot. I mean, I spent at least 2 years interning with, what was his name? The old timer.
Jim?
Jim.
Yeah.
2 years interning with Jim on those eyes.
Oh, Cockeye Jim.
Cockeye Jim. Well,
He was funny. He had a cockeye,
He did.
but he was in charge of the eye. I just remember he was so funny. He was a great guy.
He was. And when he finally handed over, the torch, so to speak, gave me finally permission to do the eyes. Then,
Yeah.
But
people don't know, if you don't visit the eye section of the workshop, you have everything so organized over there. I mean, you got the blues, you've got the hazels, you've got it's all in perfect bins. Some of them you divide up right and left, and I don't know how you know which is a right eye and which is a left eye, but
well, it's careful observation, but I'll tell you, why I have to do it that way.
Why is that?
Because of what happened in 2009.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how many dolls were sent out across the world?
Yeah.
With one blue eye and one brown eye.
Yeah.
And there were a number of those dolls that had 2 left eyes.
2 left eyes.
2 left eyes. A brown eye and a blue eye, but they were both left eyes.
Right.
And Santa
the complaints.
took that hard. Oh,
yeah.
The complaints. How was your station this year? I didn't get over there very much.
Yeah, well, bears are bears. They're once, we have the heads that you set the eyes in, and then Frank puts the button nose on, and then we need to assemble all the rest, and that's what we did. We ran out of stuffing this year.
Wow. So what did you use?
Well, some of the bears are going to be a little bit, clinky clankier than they should be, maybe, because we were just at the end. Because they had to go out the door. We were just grabbing tools, throwing them in the bears. What else could we do?
Wow.
I don't know what else we could do. I hope we don't get. The good thing was we'd already done the bulk of the work, so most of the bears out there, perfect teddy bears. You're going to snuggle up with them. Some of the bears, they're going to have sharp edges, and some are going to leak.
Oh my! Well, you know what okay, so
what's this? Tell me.
I heard a little gossip.
Yeah.
So there were some children on the list this year that Santa was having a really hard time with because they were mostly good.
Yeah.
But now with the internet age, they gotten around some of those parental controls on the internet and gone to some places they weren't supposed to go. So Santa was conflicted. It doesn't qualify as bad and getting coal in your stocking. But at the same time, they broke some rules, so they weren't all together good. So I heard that the bears who are with some sharp edges and the leaky bears, those bears are going to those kids.
Well, then I don't feel so bad then.
No.
Maybe that'll teach them.
Yeah, because they still get a bear.
Right. Be good, and maybe you'll get a full bear.
Yeah. And it just reminds them, like, this is soft and snuggly, except for Ow, that's going to poke you while you sleep to remind you, try a little harder next year. Yeah. What is the deal? What happened with Gary? Big Gary with the floppy hair.
Yeah, I know Gary. He was on reindeer duty, and from what I heard, now I wasn't there, so this is all elf rumor mill, the old elf telephone, and you know how that can go. I heard that he got into the reindeer pen and he was feeding them, and like maybe he had skipped their lunchtime meals, so by dinner they were really hungry. And he hopped over. You're supposed to feed them through the fence of the pen, but you know him. He loves any animal. You get him near any animal, he wants to touch and pet it. And he hopped over the fence with a bag of feed. And those reindeers, they had their way with him. I mean, they ate all the food, then they just kept going. They started eating.
They ate Gary?
No, they didn't eat him, but they ate his clothing.
Oh.
And when they found him, he had 8 tiny reindeer licking him. Because he had spilled the food all over him in the panic, and now they can't keep him out of the pen. Like, he just wants nothing but to be in the pen.
Well, that's Gary.
Well, that is Gary. Gary and his love for animals.
Yeah.
Well, we got the weather report. We wanted to pass that along to you. Tonight, there is a good high chance of snow, continuing snow in tomorrow and for the rest of the year here in the North Pole.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
That's the way that we like it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Elf Centered. My name's Gavin.
And my name's Beatrice.
And we'll talk to you next time. Keep it short till then.
And that was your monthly episode of Elf Centered. You can hear it the last day of every month here, only on North Pole Radio. It's 10 minutes after the hour. North Pole Radio. Christmas music every minute, every hour of every day.
This episode of Elf Centered was a production of Saturday Morning Media and starred Jayne Entwistle and Grant Baciocco. Do you have a question you'd like the elves of Elf Centered to answer? Send it in an email to hello@SaturdayMorningMedia.com. Be sure to put Elf Centered in the subject line. This show, like all Saturday Morning Media shows, are made possible by the fine patrons who've set up a recurring pledge over at www.patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. Thanks to Shay Stewart, Merle Lafferty, Jeff Peterson, Dale Gadania, Stephen Staver, Jackie Klimo, Melissa Crawford, Chuck, Matthew Wayne Selznick, Dave Slusher, Mike Coughlin, Dorothy Baciocco, John D., Kathy Crawford, Brian Greer, Carrie Whitney, Chuck Tomasi, and Chris Foster for making this show and the other shows from Saturday Morning Media possible. Become a patron for as little as $1 a month over at www.patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. This podcast is copyright 2015 Saturday Morning Media. Grant Baciocco, executive producer. All rights reserved. www.SaturdayMorningMedia.com. You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.